very serious issues plaguing our nation, and every one of us, if we love this country, we all have a duty to see how we can contribute our own quota to get things right. I am really a very sad man because I'm waiting for that day when Nigeria will work for all of us. Nigeria has not really worked. I'm 55 years old now, and to think that I haven't experienced 24-hour power supply in this country, things that other countries take for granted. And when we mention other countries, people are quick to mention countries in the West. No, I'm talking about African countries, because we travel there. And you'll be shocked that 24-hour power supply is nothing to them, because they take it for granted. Anywhere you go in Africa, at least the places I've been to, they have 24/7 power. That's basic, but it's not basic in Nigeria. I don't want to talk about the internet and all whatnot. So a lot is happening, in our country, and every year you keep hoping that things will get better, but things, keep getting worse by the day, and I'm concerned because look, I am old now. My children are adults, and they're going to live through this same Nigeria that has not worked, and if you're not careful, may not work for another 50 years. Lishman, that is scary. It is really scary, and to think that we have everything. We have all the resources you can think of, and yet we can't provide the basic things for our people. I think we should, first of all, get it right with the voting process, because that is where this whole thing stems from. Oftentimes, our leadership recruitment process is so faulty because the very one thing that citizens are required to do is to use the power of their vote to vote in the leaders that will make a difference. But that very one thing is being taken away from us. And that is what we want to use our 5th anniversary to address.
Well, I'm just looking at the theme. How do we make our votes count? Well, it's both timely, the fact that we're celebrating our independence, a time when we said, as it were, our founding fathers said that we're doing away with the colonialists, and we would, through an election, bring leaders that would lead us through a Nigeria of our dream. It's 65 years already, and one of the concerns that people have, especially with choosing these leaders, is they say their votes have not really counted. Several reasons have been given in the past, from snatching of ballot boxes to the introduction of electronic means of ensuring that you don't have those papers, and then these politicians still have a way to rigmarole the system. And if all of that goes through, we still have the judiciary to contend with at the end of it all. What specifically informed this choice of your theme for this year?
Well, Lishman, thank you. It's a good thing you're asking what informed this choice. Look, if you're as concerned as I am about our country and making sure that things work well for us, then you'll constantly be in a state of you're thinking all the time. I'm a thinker, Never a time have I sat back and said, oh, look, I'm going to rest my brain for a while. No, I'm always thinking, because the situation around you calls for that. What informed this topic is because we decided that, look, if we must get it right, then we have to look at the voting process. Now, what will shock you, Lishman, is that, yes, there's a whole lot of electoral fraud. And unfortunately, you mentioned the judiciary, and that's another kettle of fish entirely. But I can guarantee you, Lishman, that the number of people who come out to vote are far less than those who don't come out to vote. Do you know that people find it very comfortable to sit back at home on election day and not vote?
Well, we all know that once you get to a point where the advices you give or the contributions you make, whether it's in family or in certain societal organizations, once you know that the group leaders or anywhere don't take your opinions, then somehow you're laid back.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's happening.
I agree with you. It's called voter apathy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is the strategy that the politicians use. You know that the more people come out to vote, it will be difficult for the politicians to actually rig their way out of it. And not just coming out, but coming out and insisting that the right thing be done. Because frankly speaking, look at it. How many thugs will they deploy in each of the polling units? If you have more people, I give an example of my community when I contested election. You know, I never realized that the population in my community is that big until the election day. I was shocked to see the number of people who came out to vote in my community. And frankly speaking, the shocking thing was that even if you had plans to do anything, nobody will allow you to do it because the people want to vote and they want to exercise their franchise.
They have numbers.
They have the numbers. Numbers always works. And frankly speaking, if Nigerians will come out in their numbers to vote, the thugs will not have room to manipulate. The security, especially this, you talk about snatching of ballot boxes,
which had ended. But with the last election, we still saw people who were told to snatch it, grab it, and run away. And
the new one is that
they go to court after that.
Oh, go to court, exactly, because they know that nothing will happen in the courts. I think that that's the conversation we want to have, and we want to start having that conversation now. So the whole essence of this event is to get Nigerians talking about the coming elections and how we can all collectively decide, to make it work. People talked about Peter Obi because a lot of people said he didn't have any structure. He didn't have any structure. They were shocked to see the amount of votes that Peter Obi garnered. And that's because for the first time, some Nigerians decided they will come out and vote.
But even at that, we had over 100 million registered voters.
Exactly.
And the results showed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and also Peter Obi, their votes gathered together did not make up to a third.
I agree with you. Absolutely. So that's the point I'm making.
So people will say, well, then what happened to that crowd that came out if there will always be cancellation, or you'd have people go to certain areas and ensure that they beat up or chase people from voting where their opponents have a large number of registered voters, so that there's a reduction in the numbers.
Well, you know the solution to that? More crowd.
More crowd.
More crowd.
Okay, I'm a Rivers man, so let me just sing like Rivers people would do. How many them they? Rivers sing. We now sing everything else. So more like more crowd, so that you can tell them how many them they.
Look, because the more crowd,
okay,
it will be difficult for them to chase everybody.
Okay.
I mean, look at what happened in Nepal, for instance, and at the point,
everyone had to run.
Everyone had to run. Even those who were in government abandoned government houses and they fled. See, there's a limit to which you push people to the wall and they can't take it anymore. I don't pray that day comes because, that's not something any one of us want to be part of. But we can do it the right way by coming out in our numbers to vote on that day. And that's when our vote will truly count. I'm not talking about INEC and the police and the security agencies doing their usual thing of manipulating and falsifying votes. All of that too can be addressed. So we're using this opportunity to start the conversation, and put it out there. And I agree with anyone who says, one public lecture can't cut it. We're not saying one public lecture is enough, but let us start the conversation now. And the good news is that 2027 may look so far away, but it's around the corner.
Yeah.
Guess what? Next year, it will be all politicking. Next year, it will be all politicking.
2026.
And part of the politicking should be how are we going to get it right with our votes? And I think the people who are doing the greatest disservice as far as not getting it right are the people who stay at home and don't come out. That's one. Another set of people who are not helping us, especially with not getting our votes right, are the electoral officials. There's going to be a new kind INEC chairman, and part of the thing we should be insisting is that we get that also right. And so for us as an organization, and thank God for the opportunity that we have to have a platform like this, is to put it out there, have a conversation around it, so that it becomes something we can build the momentum up to the elections. And who knows, we might get it right this time.
Well, you have assembled a strong team of panelists and resource persons to interrogate the theme. So what outcomes or impacts are you hoping that this conversation will produce?
Yeah, Lishman, I mean, the people we've assembled, we're very, very confident that they will do justice to the theme. But the most important thing for us is that at the end of the day, what will be the takeaway for not just those who will come, but for those who will be watching via TV or live streaming or whatever platforms we want to put it out there, is that they start forming groups and having a conversation about the coming elections. Now, I see a lot of politicians, scheming. Some are doing coalition, some are doing all kinds of things. But look, all of that will pale into nothing if the end results, we still go back to square one. I don't know how old you are, Lishman, but look, I have never experienced a free and fair election before in this country. The only one that came close I can recall is the MK Abiola election. I think that's the best election we've had so far. But at the end of the day, what came out of it? That election was still annulled. So maybe in my lifetime we will get it right with our election. Maybe, but it's not enough to just wish it. It's for us to gather around the table, gather around our town squares, and I'm saying this for the benefit of the young people, because it is they that are the primary focus of my concern as far as this nation is concerned. Because how many japa do you want to do? Now it's very expensive to japa now.
Very expensive to
japa. And those who have even jackpot, they are telling their stories already in those countries. So now they are finding out that it's not even easy for them in those countries.
Some already jackpot.
Some money are jackpotting pada. They're coming back. And the truth of the matter is that there's no place like home. So we better fix it. Otherwise, only God knows. So if you see the number of young people in this country, people are really suffering, Lishman. I think it's in their best interest to say enough is enough, because frankly speaking, what will a politician give to you at the end of the day? The highest amount of money any politician will give you on election day may not be more than 50 or 100,000. I'm even exaggerating, because most times it's not even up to that. And maybe at best they throw in one bag of rice or throw in one wrapper for the women and all that. But at the end of the day, can you quantify the suffering that you're going through right now? Can you look at the amount of suffering? And the solution is just right there before us. Let us use the power of our vote to get things right. See, people will say, "Oh, there are no leaders. There are no all the politicians are the same. All of them are the same." Well, if you look carefully, you will find someone who is different. If you look carefully, you will find someone who at least is different, that can make a difference. So let us just use one blanket or one brush stroke
for
everyone. Because it is because we're not getting it right. That is why good people are not coming out for elections. And oftentimes, good people are not coming up for elections because they don't even trust the electorate to come out and do just one basic thing that they should do: come out and vote
and stand by your
and
vote.
stand by your vote.
All right.
You know, and that is my charge. So I'm not even talking about the politicians. I'm talking about, you see, all my conversation this morning. I'm not focused on the system. I'm not focused on INEC or focused on the government. It's about us. This has to do with us. Because like you said in your song from Rivers, how many them day? and that's the truth. How many are these people?
We will not go win them.
We will not go win them. You know, so my clarion call to all Nigerians is that, look, let's not sit down at home anymore. And I'm saying even this to even young people, to come out in their numbers. Because, see, I don't think this country can go through another cycle of leaders who will take us for a ride.
Right.
I don't think so, frankly speaking. You know, and rather than sit down and be complaining, let us do something about it. If those of you have been listening to me from the beginning of this interview, first is to shine your eyes that another election is around the corner. You can end the suffering that you are suffering today by just doing the right thing come 2027, by voting. Just showing up and vote and stand by your vote. That's all that is expected of you. And don't let anybody deceive you. So my number one message is, let the young people begin to, you know, start our own coalition, if you like, because parties are doing coalition. So why can't we have our own coalition? Let young people start doing coalition towards 2027. I think that's the real message, actually. Let's begin to galvanize. Let's begin to have conversation. Let's begin to look at the people who are coming out to contest, to vote, and to contest elections, not just at the presidential level, from the local government to House of Assembly, House of Reps, Senates, because it's important that you get the right set of leaders across board. People look towards the president alone, but you know, if the other layers too are very important. So now is the time to now start looking at the possibility of checking the background of the people who want to throw themselves out there. I know the time is still, you know, there's still time, but let's start having that, you know, conversation. Let's start, you know, putting ourselves together. Let's start galvanizing. Let's start mobilizing. One of the things I have said to my team is that beyond now, we're going to go into partnership with a number of the civil society organizations to begin to have town hall meetings across the country, across the 6 geopolitical zones, you know, to raise awareness and to sensitize the public about the need to work towards ensuring that we have credible elections in 2027. That's event will be coming up, and we'll be talking about it in the nearest future. Reason why is that we want people to start mobilizing, you know, the young people most especially, to start mobilizing. Much as they do other things with their votes, with Big Brother and every other entertainment thing, let them start doing the same thing. With who will become our next leader in the next round or cycle of election. And that I think that's the most important message I want to pass across there. Because while we're doing our bit to set the platform for conversations like this, the most important work is for the citizens themselves to mobilize, because the power is in their hands to make the right choice. Otherwise, we are on our way to Nepal, God forbid.
Well, thank you very much for your time this morning. But before you leave, let me still give you a chance to do an invite to the public, to tell them why they should attend the event in November 10th, and any parting word for the listeners, especially with these votes, the need that our votes should count, and anyone who has doubts if INEC would do something different, or if the courts will be where we'd go and have our hearts broken at the end. Just a message of renewal of hope.
Yeah, we can avoid the courts if we do the right thing at the polling units.
Okay.
So I'm using this opportunity to invite as many who can come to Abuja. But if you can't make it to Abuja, just log on that day. First daily will be live streaming
Okay.
We will put out all our handles out there at the appropriate time. Then you can also look out for the live broadcasts on Reading FM.
We will broadcast.
We will broadcast live.
Rhythm 94.7.
Yes, yeah. So I've said it out there now, so so people can look out for that, because like I said, we don't want people to miss out on this conversation, because from there on, a lot will begin to happen, and so this is like the foundation. So I'm inviting everyone who can make it to Abuja to be there, and it will be a delight to see people log on, to participate, or to see people turn up in their numbers to show up on that day. We're not charging any gate fee. It's free, and to sit down in the midst of all of these resource persons and listen to them and be part of it. I think that's something very beautiful. So come November 10 at the Shehu Yadua Center in Abuja, and we're kicking off 9 a.m. on the dot. So we'd like to see as many people who can show up in their numbers to come. And if you can't come from Bayelsa or elsewhere, you can also log on any of our platforms.
That's www.firstdaily.ng
and be part of it. We're looking forward to seeing all of you there. God bless you.
All right, thank you. This morning, my guest, a former Commissioner for Information and Orientation in Bayelsa State, and currently the publisher of the First Daily newspaper, inviting you for his 5th anniversary public lecture, holding with a focus on why our votes should count and how we should ensure that we hold our leaders accountable. My name is Lishman Onisodewe. The talk of the town continues. We have another